So I have started writing again, and I'm really happy about it. And the book in question is a correctional officer female. She's really spicy. So it is combining a lot of my experiences and issues and a lot of other things that I saw from other people. And it's like exaggerating all of it. I don't really want to ruin too much, but this first scene that I have written, this first little bit of partial of a chapter is like, what now? So, I don't know. It's kind of good to get it all out of my system, but at the same time, it's making me relive some stuff. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, I woke up at like 4 this morning. Well, actually 2 this morning. I jolted awake, and it was basically recurring nightmares from that place. And I just had the urge to write, and I've been putting this off for like a month because I'm busy with college and I need to do my homework and stuff. I'm starting to get a little bit of a schedule down, but this is almost the end of the semester, and I've got 5 exams that are all going to be due next week, so I've got a lot of studying for, and I was like, I know I shouldn't write, but I can spend 3 hours. Screw it. So I went back to sleep. When I woke up at 4, 2 hours later, couldn't sleep anymore. The urge to write was still there, so I was like, I'll get out of the way. I'll go ahead and start writing some, and then it took over. So, basically, this particular scene, this correctional officer, this girl, I've named her Lillian Dream River. Or River Dream, I mean. Her last name is River Dream, so whenever they call her on the radio it's such and such to Officer River Dream. And, God. She gets jolted awake out of a deep, deep sleep. The darkness like peels away from her slowly, like sick oil, and like it's just leaving her feeling really horrible. And there's like this thundering, booming sound just repeatedly stabbing at her eardrums. And she jerks awake to that and like, oh crap, she cusses a lot, so I don't know how this is going to go down with the public because, it's a correctional officer and it's an adult book, obviously. It's going to be a lot of expletives in it because this is how correctional officers speak behind closed doors. Or at least it was whenever I was there before they had the body cams and stuff. And so she's going to talk the way that they did back when I worked there. But she wakes up to that and it's like, oh crap, I fell asleep. Whoops. And then she has to get up, let the coworker in who's pretty pissed off because, whatever. But he quickly gets over it and just tells her she's going to do the next unit checks and counts and stuff. So she goes out there and immediately off. And it's in the middle of her shift in the middle of the night. She has 12-hour shifts. This is like 1 in the morning, so just like 7 hours into the shift, and she has to be there all the way up until about 6 o'clock when it's time to go. And at the 1 o'clock mark, you don't want to wake up a bunch of inmates because then you're going to hear screaming and yelling and doors banging for the rest of the stupid night and stuff. So she's trying to be quiet, but at the same time she has to do her job. And she's at that point where she's learned a little bit, or she's learned enough about herself where she knows that she is a soft person and she has to hide it. So even though she is a soft person, she'll make the jokes with the best of them. She'll put on that mask of being a cold, indifferent stranger, and she just gets out there and does her job, and she hides every bit of illness and she hides every bit of pain. She doesn't complain. She just gets out there and does it, and just buckles down, right? And I've got a lot of other things that are planned to come up, including some of the stuff that I went through with the illnesses and stuff. But I want this to be as heart-wrenching as possible, and like you to have a lot of respect for her, but also be like, dude, what the F? But yeah, so she goes out there onto the run, and she's just trying to do her count, and like I started from cell one started just laying thick exactly the type of stuff that correctional officers have to deal with on a regular basis, especially the females, including what I had to go through. So they're like, immediately there's curtains are covering half the windows, which, there's policies against that because we need to be able to see, make sure they're alive. And then that, no illicit things are going on, safety's sake. People aren't getting killed or anything. But, so there's all of that. And then the next cell, a couple of cells down, there's a dude that's like playing with himself at the door. He's trying to talk to her, and he's done this as he's a repeat offender. And she's like, nope. She barely even takes the time to make sure the cameras know that she's done her job. She moves on. She doesn't even look in the cell hardly, just peripherals only. And just to make sure that both of them are alive, and then get the hell out of there. And he keeps trying to talk to her, and she's over there. She threatens to spray him in the junk with OC, and he's like, no, that'd be assault. And she's like, she tears him a new one while she's still doing her count. And then other inmates are laughing and stuff, and then one tries to hit on her because he thinks that's hot, which is really gross. And that shit freaking happens all the time up there, especially if you're a female. It even happens if you're a male. But, yeah, it just goes on and on. I mean, they ain't got nothing better to do other than to harass people and to annoy people and to just see who can come with a better comeback. But yeah, no, it's that shit's hilarious, but also just like my heart is just like racing out of disgust and anger and just like cringe. And I'm just like, that is exactly what that place was, down to the very freaking essence. And I'm going to put as much of the essence of everything that place was, including the corrupt correctional officers and kind of how all that worked. Trying to stay away from all the drama, trying not to get dragged in with what the dirty correctional officers were doing, trying to just keep your head down, keep your shit to yourself, do your job, and not get targeted. And she does anyway. She gets targeted anyway because she gets sick, and it gets to a point where she can't hide it anymore. But, man, this first bit of the first chapter is already so good. And I was just cracking up because she is spicy. She is like a fiery little shit. And she just has no qualms about telling the inmates off. And it's so beautiful. I love it. But, I can't wait. So, I've got a working title for it right now, and it's just CSO 1, even though that wasn't her rank. She's a corporal. But if it ends up going into multiple books, then it'll be CSO 2, CSO 3, and so on. It'll just, be written kind of like that. But those are the working titles. Let me know if you guys would read something like that. I don't know if I want to put more of a paranormal element in there. I think I might, because of some of my history with my mom and some other family members. There was like talks of demons and like shadows, things that were moving, and all this other stuff that, getting fed as when you're a child and you get fed all this stuff. It haunts you for the rest of your life, whether it's real or not, and you're aware of it's real or not. It still gets to you because, you're psych. But let me know if you all would like more of that in there as well. So, because I've got some things that I can definitely add to that. So, I'm excited. Oh, goodness. I guess I'll keep posting on this as I go. I just wanted to kind of give y'all an update that, yes, I am still writing. Well, I'm writing again. And also going to college. And I don't know. I don't know how long this book is going to take to write. But I still need to get in and write the other stuff for the Violet Curse so I can get the rest of the series written for that. As well. But I got another guy at the last vendor event that I went to. I sold him one of my Violet Curse books several months ago. I think about 6 months ago or so. Back in July, June, somewhere around there. And he said he usually reads about an hour or two. Usually about an hour a day, or once a week, whatever. It's just now, and he's just now halfway through the book, and he said, girl, You write a lot. And I was like, I know, I'm an overwriter and an overthinker. But I'm very detailed, and every single detail has a purpose. It's not like just in there as filler or buffer. Like, even the environment itself is a character in a way, because it actually means stuff, and it reflects the internal storm inside the characters and what's going on within the whole series and the whole story. So, like, you have an arch from the environment for each character, for all the stuff that's going on. It goes from whimsy to dark to scary to funny to, like, all of it, and all the paranormal and stuff, and like the shadow creatures and the violet curse and all the stuff that's like going on in the story. And it's a big story for a first book, but I was like, but you're gonna be shocked at the ending. So he's been reading it, and he said he's halfway through, and he said it is so good, and I was like, oh my god, yes. It just makes my day. Like, I told him, I said I had some other friends that had bought it for me, and they just read a little bit of it at a time too, because, you know, not everybody has the time to sit down and just keep reading. But I mean, every now and then I'll ask them, have you read any more? Not yet, but, you know, because people get busy and sometimes they'll forget, and I get it, my book's not a fast read. But the fact that he's still going through it was awesome. And I really want to write more on that series, and I really want to write this correctional officer book. So I'll get this one out of the way, because it's just supposed to be a one book thing, like a standalone. If it turns into one, more than one, then okay, maybe, but that's not the goal. And yeah, so I'm excited. Anyway, so all my college stuff is going really well so far. I've got straight A's so far. I should end up with a 4.0 for this semester again. So all of my college GPA is 4.0. I've got my next semester set. I'm going for 18 credit hours, which is loaded up. I have no idea how I'll handle it, because one of the classes is going to be like really homework heavy, and the other one is going to be like really thought and thinking heavy. So I don't know how much I'll be able to handle. I might have to drop a class, but at least I have room to do so. And in the meantime, I just want to enjoy life. But I wanted to give y'all an update. So happy holidays, happy late Thanksgiving, happy early Christmas and New Year, and please stay warm, and y'all have an awesome day. Bye.